As a kid, I had this story that I was meant to be seen and not heard. So I was a good little girl, presented perfectly, didn't make a peep. And I have spent my entire adult life learning how to hear myself. And writing has been the tool that has set me free. Like, gonna make me cry. I think of so many women, high achieving women, and especially who are doing everything that they're supposed to do. And they're just shriveling up inside because they know that they're meant for more, but they're not going to give themselves permission. They haven't heard themselves. They haven't heard their hearts in years.
The world has taught us some of the most fundamentally useless ways of thinking about success that actually go against our biology when it comes to achievement and happiness, success and peace. We are taught to push through pain at any cost, to use pressure to persist, focus on the goal, and do whatever it takes to get there. This is useful if the goal is to not starve to death. But success by any means necessary comes at a remarkable cost to our future self. Our mantra around here is not a penny from pressure, only pleasure. The More Alive podcast exists to lead us into a new way of achieving and replace outdated advice that threaten the dream life that actually makes us feel more alive. I'm your host, Andrea Crowder, mom, truth teller, and lover of daydreaming, here to help create a world where we all feel more alive. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to another episode of the More Alive podcast. I have one of the most magical beings. If you guys are in a place of pivot, if you guys are in a place of, I don't know what's next, or I want to stay where I am, but I want to do it differently, or I want to overhaul my life and I want to have an eat, pray, love moment, I have the perfect guest for you. One of my clients and become dear friends, Tiffany, has been on this wild journey of watching her go from having this beautiful corporate career that she decided was coming to, as you would say, a karmic completion in your life, and has now many, many months along the journey has now created this beautiful community. You've tried a few different things as you've decided and landed upon not just one, but two different businesses that aren't the same at all, but actually really go together so beautifully and interestingly. And I just wanted to bring Tiffany on and share her story, because watching the magic unfold and watching somebody who I don't know if you would describe yourself as having as being like an elegant truster of life all the time. I think you would a lot of times, but I don't think you would all the time. I don't even feel that way about myself all the time, but like watching how well you do it when I have coached thousands of women through a variety of different like pivots in their life, and I've coached them through the void and the in-between and the lull and the confusion and all of that. And so I would say you're actually in probably the top 2% in how well you are able to like stay on 2 feet. And so Tiffany, welcome to the show. I can't wait to share your story. Go ahead and introduce yourself and give a little bit of background of like where you were when this journey, when you and I, that we're going to talk about today, when this began.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me, because this is like a dream come true. Part of what I think we'll talk about as we get into feminine velocity was podcasting was a thing for me. So to be here with you in this space is, a manifestation that was high on my list.
Yes.
So a little bit about my history and kind of how I got here. I had been working in a corporate setting. I was working with a fractional CPA firm, very logical, right? Doing all the things type A. And I knew my soul contract with the CEO I was working with and the business was coming to an end. And I decided I was just going to be open. And so as that came to a close, you also came into my world. And it was perfect timing, because I knew I didn't want to rebuild what I had left. I didn't just step back into that space where I was doing everything for everyone else and putting myself last.
Yeah.
And so it was perfect timing, because I wanted to create something different. And I was really attracted to the very feminine leadership that you were portraying in the world, because I had been in such a like deeply masculine leadership way of being.
Okay, so just to give a little bit more detail. So you're not just working at this company, you're mostly running the company. We have a multi-million-dollar company. You're fractional CFO, but you're essentially coconut oil. You do a little bit of everything and you do it really, really well. And that was what was so impressive, to me, is to see you walk away from having really built a very impressive career that on paper anybody else would have really admired and maybe even coveted. And for you to walk away from that, not quite sure, not quite sure what was next. And remind me of the timeline, because I know you and I did Feminine Velocity together in the summer of last year, like July, August timeframe. And then it was maybe later in the fall when you actually completed this career path, right?
Yeah, I took my last paycheck at end of October.
Right. So she had just signed up for Spine of a Queen, almost a $20,000 investment, deciding I'm going to go on the journey of magic with Andrea, and I'm going to build, not from new, because obviously like you take with you a variety of impressive skills. And one of the things that I think is true across the board about all women in my life is all women, if you're listening to this podcast, if you've been in my programs, if you followed me on social media, you guys are all impressive. You guys have areas that you're just like I'm getting like goosebumpies right now. Like you guys are really excellent at what you're excellent at. Like not just okay-ish. You guys are really kind of like top of the line excellent at the thing that you've already built. So like you're taking a lot of excellence with you, but you're taking it into a whole new arena and deciding that I won't achieve in the way that I've achieved before, and the process in which you've achieved before. You'll achieve in the way that in the outcome, and that you'll have a wild, massive success. But you look at your life and you're like, I'm burning down this foundation and I don't know when it will be rebuilt. Like, come on. I have just watched you and you're just like, it's fine. But you've meant it. I'm not saying that facetiously either. Like you've meant it. You've known it. Like, can I ask first, because that wasn't something I don't think I helped instill upon you. You 1000% came into my world with like a deep knowingness of, you know who you are and you know that you'll make it work. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, I have been a student of manifestation and also a student of meditation for a very, very long time. And so understanding my mind and being able to decide the thoughts that I want to think and how much energy I put into them has always been a part of my practice. And I will also say, just, I mentioned the soul contract coming to an end. I knew in my heart that I was meant to help a lot more people. When I started, I had a team of 2 people. And then, within 2 or 3 years, I had a team of 18 people. And they knew me to a certain extent. Like, it wasn't a surprise if I was like, I meditate or, talk a little bit about my spirituality. But they didn't get all of me. They got the very corporate, acceptable version of me. And I began to realize, like, there's a place where all of me gets to be present and acceptable. And that level of service is going to serve people so much more deeply and so much more powerfully than this fraction of what has become acceptable at this corporate space. Yeah. And I just knew in my heart, I don't know how else to describe it, but I just knew in my heart that I was meant to be doing something that I loved and something that was the fullest expression of me. And I tripped over myself 3 or 4 times. I rebuilt what I had done before because it was familiar a couple times. Mm-hmm. And every time I built it, the aliveness, that was the gift that you gave to me, is where's the aliveness? And every time I would feel into it, I'd be like, nope, this is performance and it's unsustainable. And it kept bringing me back and back and back to what I knew was true for me, which was this creative life that I've been building.
Yeah. And I think what's true that's really important for us to acknowledge is we can build it from performance. We can build a very impressive career through obligatory energy through, and not, I wouldn't say all of it is that. I bet you have some parts of your career where you're just like, I love that. Like, I'm really proud of that. And then there were other parts where you're just like, why are we still playing the game like this? Tell me, what parts of you were you leaving out?
I think the biggest component was really being able to speak from my heart. Like, I could speak very well from my mind. I could say what needed to be said, but I never really got to say, this is what's true for me, and feel like it landed. Like, there was always this filter that I had on of what's to say that's acceptable versus not acceptable. And I have a deep mission in my heart to help free people from the voice that says, don't say that. It's not acceptable. You can't be that way. And being in corporate, I felt like I had to fit the mold. I had to wear what I had to wear. I had to say what I had to say. I had to do the things that I was supposed to do. And I was good at that. I had perfected that way of being in the world. In fact, when I left at a position that would have looked perfect on paper for what I thought I wanted next, and I had to say no to it because I was like, I think it'll just be me doing the same thing over and over again. And so coming into this space where I wear all the hats, I get to build what I want to build, speaking and being fully expressed as myself has been scary because there's part of me that's like, am I burning bridges that I'm going to need in the future if this doesn't work out? And so I literally can't go back. I just can't. There's no part in my body that says that's okay.
You can't betray yourself once you start to think a little bit differently. And I think that was one of the things that we did in Feminine Velocity was we really helped inner mind get, understand, believe, and embody that your truth is your greatest strength of safety. And I think if the whole corporate world knew that, it would shift overnight, because I don't think anybody likes the staunchy way of doing things. Nobody wants to go to work and perform. We all have this deep inner need to just like to be loved, to be accepted, and more importantly, I think, to be known. And everyone's hiding there and nobody likes it, but we all agree because somehow it's been adopted that this is how we stay safe. And we don't need to turn this whole episode into why. That can be another diatribe, but okay. So you and I meet last summer, Feminine Velocity round 2, and it was really interesting when you came in. One of the things that I find fascinating about this system of achievement is that almost every single woman, not all of them, but I'm going to say if I went back and I did the percentages, is probably close to 90% of women come in and they think that they know what their achievement goal is going to be or what their intention is going to be. And then within the first 3 days, they're like, shit, that's not it. Once they hear and understand how you make that decision, and that's kind of where the click happens of like, I can never go.
True.
It doesn't take very long because the maths really quickly. And then you understand why it felt like hell for so many years. And where you could do it, you could row that little boat for as long as you wanted to until you realized you could sail and the wind could do the majority of the work. So tell us a little bit about what that experience was like, because I know you were one of those people that had a quick shift in direction.
Yeah, I was actually looking through my momentum journal this morning and I was looking at my core values. I was like, yep, those are still true. And then I was looking at my list and I had written next to each potential intention how my body felt when I put my finger on each one. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Because I remember that moment and thinking like, oh, I need to replace my income. So I need to have an income generating goal. And every income generating goal just felt heavy, gross, constricted, not lit up at all. It was like the heaviest stuff on the page. And I had, kind of like, I don't even know what to do if it's not this? Because my survival brain was like, we need this. And so I had something that I wrote down, and it was about day 3. I was looking at it, and all of a sudden it was scribbled out. That's my intention. And I had speak your truth written in. And I was like, interesting. Okay, speak your truth. And a day or two after that, podcasting came in as something that was aligned, would feel good to have done, had energy behind it. And I remember thinking, a podcast, everyone talks about that being this long-term thing. And, you're not seeding the things that are going to bloom tomorrow. Like, how is that going to be? But my heart was like, undeniable, it's podcasting. And so that's what I started doing. I started a podcast. I had a blog that I had been writing since 2020. And I recorded my first podcast episode just on a whim. And as soon as I got done recording it, I was flying high. Like, I had so much energy. I've since recorded like 20, I think I recorded 23 episodes, but I had 1 month where I was so excited about podcasting. I was doing a podcast a day as like a secret side podcast because I just loved it so much. So it wasn't what I started with, but it is the thing that I've fallen in love with. And I know, we planted seeds earlier this week. I know those seeds are going places. They're going to be global. It's going to be magic. I don't need them to bloom today because I'm okay. And I can trust that they'll bloom when they're ready. But it was all because of feminine velocity. That's what was most alive.
What's interesting though is like perception of bloom, because I look at your downloads, like the growth of your downloads. I look at the growth of every platform, every new platform that you've integrated. You integrated LinkedIn earlier at the beginning of the year. You integrated Threads just recently, and you grow fast on all of them. And even though you haven't been like doing a lot of selling on each of them, like one could only wish you could actually grow the platform first before you needed to sell. And you actually were in a position, not everybody can do that. You were in a position where you recognized, I can, and this is correct for me. And a lot of you did wiggle through it a little bit. There's some like real wiggles that you and I worked through together on, like, is this okay? Is it okay that like I'm not trying to earn yet? Most people would dream of being able to just create first before they had to monetize. And that's honestly the best way to do it. So what I'm seeing right now is like there is a lot of blooms in that your downloads just skyrocketed really fast. Your views on different platforms, your follows on different platforms have grown comparatively to what I've seen in the industry really, really quickly. And part of it is because you are creating from that like pure essence, from like your wholeness. So you always hear me say like what you want wants you back, but in order to be found, all of you has to be there. And you keep getting found by a lot of people. And then I think like the other impressive thing that I've gotten to witness is that one other thing, just like you and I were talking yesterday with Allie, who's also in Spine of a Queen. And what she said to me was how she found me and invested again in this, like, multiple 5-figure offer. She said that she found me through a free podcast that I created or free meditation I created in 2020. She found it in 2024. And then she paid me $20,000+ and at the end of 2025. She'd never bought anything from me before. And like the whole process of like, I'm planting seeds. And this is the last thing that I wanted to say about you that just like keeps blowing my mind is everyone on the internet hates content. Everyone on the internet right now hates content. There's really just a few fairies that have actually truly mastered, like, I desire to create and creation feels easy. And like, my ideas create me. And like you and I are the people who are like, we won't do it unless like the idea creates us. And because you've taken 4 very simple steps of feminine velocity, which I taught to you in 20-minute chunks, but now you've probably distilled down into like, it probably takes you seconds to go and then decide and know how to move next. And just this week, you're like, I've created hundreds of pieces of content, hundreds of seeds that have been planted. Like, tell me more.
I had this love-hate relationship with social media for most of my entrepreneurial career.
Yeah.
And something shifted, and I love it now. It was something that happened in one of our mastermind sessions, because I remember you asking me, what if it takes 39 no's to get a yes? And I was like, well, then look at how much creativity I get to have.
Yes.
And it was just this idea of I get to create more, and I'm loving the creative process. So that means I get to have more fun, like win-win. So
you just changed somebody's life right there. That 39 seconds or however long that you just broke someone open and changed everything in 39 seconds. Keep going.
Well, we're such creative beings, right? And when you're in your true expression, the joy that naturally comes for that lights you up from the inside out. Like, content literally pours out of me. I can't go anywhere without my phone, because if I go for a walk, inevitably there are words streaming through me, or I want to hit record. I think there's a previous version of me that's like, but your hair's still wet and you're in workout gear and this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, I mean, thanks to AI, humanness is trending. Like, if I'm showing up imperfectly, people are like, oh, she's real. And then they feel the frequency, and then they feel the feels, and then they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to listen to more. Authenticity is the biggest magnet that we have. Just showing up, being ourselves, and speaking from our hearts is the most profound and powerful act that we can share with this world, right?
And we can taste it, feel it, touch it, smell it. Like, it is a different frequency when somebody is truly speaking from their heart. And now it's more visceral than it's ever been, as you mentioned, because of AI. I wrote something down yesterday as I was planning out my notes for this round of Feminine Velocity, and I had written, the famous quote, which is, resentment is like drinking poison and hoping the other person will die. And then I wrote, and shame is like drinking poison because somebody else told you that your humanness wasn't worthy of love. And again, thanks to AI, I feel like our humanness, the wet hair, the flawed moments, it's like those are the moments that we can feel, all of us. We feel it, and then we want to create. Like, I'm the same way. I'm like, I can't relate to the people who have nothing to say. I can't. Some days where I'm like, I'm not meant to say something. Those are normally like around my period or whatever. And like, there's the cyclical nature of all of that. But like on the days that really like my cycle is adding velocity to that, I'm like, there's not enough hours. My head starts, thank God for the feminine velocity process, because my head starts spinning and I'm like, I have 72 ideas. I don't know where to start. And then I have to like go back through the steps. Like, what do I do today?
Oh my gosh, that's so been me, because I've had the 72 steps and I've taken all 72 steps, and then I've had to peel back like 71 of them.
I know exactly. Like, I should really actually needed one of all of those. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now we're on this like beautiful part of your journey where you've planted hundreds of seeds and pieces of content. And this week we celebrated you opening up a brand new offer and accepting your first perfect customer for the perfect offer, for the perfect season, at the perfect everything. And the seal is broken. The seal opened for you just this week. And tell us about how that feels.
To be honest, it is the most heartwarming sensation in my body, because this is something that first came to me on a walk 18 months ago. And I write in a journal every night before I go to bed so I can see like my day in history. And last night I was laying in bed reading where I was last year, and I was trying to launch this exact community and it wasn't happening. And I remember thinking it came in so strong. Like I could see it so clearly. I could see the merch. I could see the people. I could see the events. Everything was so crystal clear. I couldn't figure out why a year ago I wasn't getting any traction. And it's just because the timing wasn't right. I had more things to do. I hadn't fallen in love with content yet. I hadn't been able to speak from my heart without being bitter. And so when it came around this time, there was no, you guys, you have to come and join me. Please come join me. I need you to join me. Like it wasn't a disempowered invite. It wasn't a disempowered ask. It was, I did my market research. I knew what my people were saying. I knew what they wanted. And I was like, hey, I built it. When you're ready, come over here. Come hang out. We're going to do cool stuff. And also, if not yet for you, that's okay. And that was something I didn't have before. I didn't have it's okay if they say no. And I had to learn that. I had to be in the presence of it not working out the way that I thought it was going to, because now my resolve is so strong. There's nothing. I don't care if it takes 5 years to build to the level that I want to. I know it won't. But also, I'm here for it every step of the way, and I'm unwavering in it. And that certainty is going to be so magnetic that people will just pour in.
Yeah, I think that that's such a lost art that I hope to restore for all beings everywhere, which is like the understanding of timing and the appreciation and the artistry of it. And of course, hindsight's always 2020, and we can look back and we're like, oh, I hadn't done that. But like, what if we didn't need that? You know, what if we're like, wait, if it's not working now, what is? And that's like the redirect that I love for all humans is like, just because that wasn't the right timing for something last year, there was something that was the right timing for you in the in-between. And so there is no loss when you truly follow this system. And would you share a little bit about like how that felt for you? Can you see where you're like, oh, actually this came through and this came through and this came through, and like there was harvest in different ways and in different methods for you to be able to reap in the in-between?
Yeah, Stacking Club has been a game changer for me. Like I was looking through my momentum journal from the last velocity round, and I was reading through some of the notes. And then I had a note on my phone, and then I started doing them in Claude, because then I could have Claude tell me how awesome I am on the days that I didn't know.
It got her Claude, our boyfriend.
Right. Claude, I'm feeling bad today. Can you help me out? Read my stacks to me.
Yes.
But it was doing that all of a sudden I realized how many seeds I was planting. I suddenly started to see the stats shift. I said, like, the things started to come true because I was no longer focusing on what wasn't happening. I could look back at the evidence that it was working. And it switched something in my brain where I was able to continue doing the work without freaking out, because I was like, oh, come on, I've got 300 stacks from April. Like, I'm good. These are coming together. Like,
you're a stack master. Thank God for Claude. Oh my God. Tell everybody what you did with Claude, by the way. Let's just like add that little tip in there. It's so good.
Yeah. So I asked it to be my Stacking Club tracker, and I had it create a stack artifact, and I gave it 2 goals. And I said, every day I'm going to tell you my stacks. I want you to track them, put them in, make it pretty, make it look, beautiful. And also give me the numbers, because I am previously an accountant and the numbers make a difference for me.
Yep.
And it created this multi-tab artifact that basically says how many days I've done it, how many days I've done the stacks for each of my goals, and then the total number of stacks. And I think I finished out April at like 285 wins, essentially. But when I got to the end of the month, like, I can't be disappointed. I've got 285 wins.
And do you think previous to like making that a part of your daily life, that it would have been as easy for you to stay on the path when it looked like it wasn't working, according to how the world defines success?
Yeah. So I have tried gratitude. I'm a big writer, right? I
Yeah.
write daily. I've tried gratitude practices and nothing has felt the same as Stacking Club.
It's different. Yeah.
It's different. There's something about the logical satisfaction of writing down this was achieved. And I think especially writing down this is the thing that I had control over. This is the seed that I planted. Claude's cute. It literally puts those little green plant bloom emojis as my thing. So it's like all little seeds.
I want to see yours. I know you showed it to me in the beginning, but now I want to see it after it's been like used thoroughly.
Yeah, I've got a field.
Oh my God. You're gonna have to put it in the feminine velocity group so everybody can see like the screenshot of your like dashboard. It's so good.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't keep up with Claude myself. Like for me, it's so weird. I'm so digital everywhere except for this. I am very much an analog girl. I went back to my pen and paper. I had to. It just felt so good. Yeah. Yeah.
I think for me, it's the being able to say it out loud. Something about being able to voice it out loud. And you and I talked about this. The Claude dictation isn't as good as the Chat GPT dictation. I've had it fall off a couple times, which is frustrating. Yeah. But once I started putting mine into a voice note and then dropping it in, dropping in the transcript, that's helped with that. But I've also like discovered like I'll have a really, really productive morning and I'll do all of my stacks right away in the morning. So that if by the end of the day, nothing else happens and I just want to go to sleep, I'm fine and they're already in there and it kind of segments out my day. But something about that process of reminding my brain, this is all that I've done, tells my brain, oh, I have done enough. And there's something about that enoughness that gratitude practice wasn't chipping away at.
Gratitude oftentimes, in my personal opinion, can be a little too vague, but there's also a different energy. I think that there's value in both, but when it comes to achievement, I wouldn't use gratitude as the practice to be able to propel velocity. I would use evidence. So the 4 steps essentially to velocity aren't a secret. I've said them a million times. People using them is the part that's magic. Because no matter how many times I tell you guys, if I don't get you into the actual like velocity of a container where we're starting today, we're ending on this day, like people, I wouldn't say that's true for everyone. I would say there are like 2%ers that have messaged me and they're like, actually, I use this and this is what's happened. I'm like, oh my God, unicorn. Other people, I'm kind of the same way in that like I see people using Claude in certain ways where I'm like, I would love to do that, but my brain tells me I have too many other things to do. And so in my head, I'm like, I've pinned it to integrate someday. But until somebody puts something live on the calendar that will expire tomorrow, that's kind of a thing that really helps me say like, okay, I'm going to integrate this now. Like me going to New York a couple of times to integrate, AI bot babies into my business. Like there's value in both. Some people are like, I can do this. I can integrate this now. Most people really do need like a date on the calendar. And we're like, okay, no, come hell or high water, I'm actually starting this with you guys. But the 4 steps are essentially to get clear on what you want. So it's focus, right? And then get clear on like what essentially is weighing down the boat. So there's energy, internal energy and external energy. So we look at like what are the energies that are taking us out of velocity internally and externally. And then there's action, decisions. What are we actually doing? What are we taking action on? And all of these are through the frame in which I teach, which is like, does this have divine timing now? That's really what had been critical for Tiffany of realizing like, it's one thing to know. So for example, years ago in 2023, I think in March, I had this idea for a program called Known. And it was around like essentially undoing cancel culture for someone in somebody's nervous system. So if like you've had hate, if you've had cancel culture, if you had people like reject you, like all of those emotional things that happen as we like rise in our business, like the whole point was like known as aloe for those sunburns. And by the time you come out, you'll the sunburns will have been healed and you can get back to business. But I had the idea for that. I was clear on it, the branding and the photo shoot all in March. We didn't launch until maybe October. because I already knew it didn't have divine timing now. My whole team goes crazy because they're like, every month I'm like, it might be now. I feel something and then it goes away. We did that in July. We did that in August. And they're just like, whatever. When we know, we know. When we know, we'll go. But like finally in October, I'm like, hey, it's here. We're doing it. I'm launching. I'm like, I've already started launching by the time I've told the team. So there's the step of like action, and which actions, not just does this idea have divine timing now, but which actions in which order have divine timing in the sequential order that will create the most velocity. This is where I think like the detailed artistry of this comes, because like you said, you can have 79 ideas, implement all of them, and realize in hindsight, you only needed one. And feminine velocity, we prevent that shit. And then the last one is evidence. And the first three are common knowledge. I think people have learned them in a variety of different like achievement methods. We have your focus, we have your energy, and we have actions. That's not new. The evidence piece, no one has. No one does. I have 8-figure female founders who come to me and they just feel like they are losing. Remember, feelings are not facts. And so the evidence piece is so different than gratitude, because you do find very real, tangible pieces where you're like, wait a second, that is working. I do know. Otherwise, what happens is you sense chaos in your body because all of these ideas are floating around. All of these wants, desires, and needs are floating around. All of these, like maybe someday, or have I really done it? Not quite sure. Haven't checked that data. All of these like teeny little questions float in the nervous system, and it feels like chaos. And then how we describe the chaos is maybe anxiousness. And then how we describe the anxiousness is haven't done it. Which is totally false. It's totally false. So like there is very much a science to the madness. I say all the time that like feminine velocity is a science, but it feels like art. It feels like art. Could you speak to that a little bit in your experience of really having gone all in on this system in the last almost year now, Tiffany? I can't believe it's been almost a year.
I know, isn't that crazy? I think the fact that it feels like a very logical process, but it's a very emotionally charged logical process is what makes it so powerful. It's not just the brain doing one thing or the heart doing one thing. It's putting those two pieces together, which then like supercharges what you want. And I look back at like my first feminine velocity experience, and we haven't even really talked about this yet, but Legend was so instrumental for me, like worth it 1,000 times over to have you as a coach at 10 p.m. Pacific time when I was losing my mind because I didn't think I had enough stacks for the day. And then Legend comes in and is like, no, slow down, take a breath, let's pause. It pulled me out of my head and back into my heart so many times that I learned where to source my decisions from. I learned what it felt like to have wind, and all those stories that, step 2, that's taking you out of the energy, the reframes, the perspective shifts, the little tweaks that you need, where it's just Legend saying, but what about this way? And you're like, oh, girl, how'd you know? Okay, I'll just go make magic again. Thank you. I'll be back later.
And I'm back.
I've got the next one.
I wish that could be the whole sales page for Legend, by the way. Or like Legend, what Legend does is she gives you that visceral, absolute knowingness of, and I'm back. If you've been loving this conversation, you're going to love what you hear next. So Tiffany, my client, has been in a program called Feminine Velocity. This is the world's first body first achievement method. What if I told you that I knew for sure? You're not inconsistent. You're not less powerful than other women. You're certainly not incapable. And of course, you are not unworthy. You just have never been taught to win in a way that works for you. That is what I created the feminine velocity system for. This is for you if deep down you know you're brilliant. You know you have more to give. You know you have more to be known for. You're skilled, you're intelligent. Maybe some people might even say you're magic on legs when you're in your zone of genius. You know what I mean? But lately, you've been feeling a lull or a void, or you've been in a season where things just aren't moving in the way that they've moved before. Maybe you're feeling unclear. You're just stuck in a little bit of overthinking. You might be feeling overstimulated or burnout from pushing, and it's just not going anywhere. You feel like you have one left foot and you're just going in circles. Maybe you really miss your own fire and you're ready to have your spark back. This is for you if you want momentum right now more than you want air. If you want to feel the breeze on your face again, the feeling of movement, direction, aliveness, certainty. You want to feel your own heart beating alive with excitement and anticipation again. What would it be worth to you if I could promise you 4 things? Number 1, clarity. If I could help you see exactly why the effort that you've been making isn't translating into movement and exactly what to shift so you can create momentum in the thing that actually makes you feel alive. And you'll walk away knowing that none of what's happened means anything about you. Number 2, self-trust. If I could help you restore the trust so that when a lull comes, you stay upright. It's like riding a sleepy wave, knowing a bigger one is already forming because you stay standing and you naturally catch it when it comes. I know sometimes when those lull comes or you're in a void, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, am I as good as I think I am? Am I as good as I've said that I am? Self-trust gets restored quickly in feminine velocity. And then momentum. I could show you how to move in a way, how to find exactly what's ready to move right now, how to enhance momentum in the next 30 days so you feel deeply certain that you're on the right path and it's working in a way that's perfect for you. And then sustainability. I could help you create visible speed. You'll know it, you'll see it, you'll track it while your body stays soft, open, receptive, expectant, alive. All of the feminine gifts that you were born with stay intact. It won't even occur to you to force anything. And the only path that you'll see is the one that keeps you connected to yourself. What would that be worth to you? Would it be worth $99? Would it be worth $99 in 30 days, 20 minutes a day to spend it with me live, walking side by side with you? So we're starting May 8th, but you can join after. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm listening to this, it's May 12th, that's okay. Nothing happens in this program in sequential order. If you're like, you know what, we're 14 days in, but it's still worth $99 to spend the last 14 days with Andrea and the amazing people in this group, you absolutely can. You can join and there's no sequential order. There's no possible way to get stuck or feel behind. There are 4 simple steps that you do every single day. And then the 30 additional velocity tasters that I give you to enhance velocity, you can do in any order and you can keep doing afterwards. If you want to keep access to all of the recordings, you can upgrade to VIP for just $295. And then you get access to Legend AI as well so that you can ask questions even when I'm sleeping. So if you want to join and be a part of the next 30-day challenge for feminine velocity, just go ahead and click the link below.
Exactly. Definitely.
Sorry,
Yeah. When I went through at the end of the month for the first feminine velocity, and I was like, tell me how our month has been. And she was like, you shifted from your dream being out in front of you to you being it. She's like, you stopped questioning and you started embodying and making decisions from this place of this is who I am. I'm the person who speaks my truth. And she's like, it changed in our conversation. You can see it because at the beginning, there were a lot of what if, a lot of what, why questions. And at the end, I was just checking in with her just to kind of share, like, this is what's happening. And she's like, by the end, you were just telling me how it was. And she's like, you embodied what your intention was in 30 days. Like 30 days. We'll work years for that stuff.
And that's not a small thing. I think women in my world understand how tangible that is to create embodiment around what you want and then becoming the woman who is it in a matter of 30 days. Like that takes some people their whole lives, if not years. And that's what I think, like, again, these are moments where you're like, everybody understands. You wish your sales pages could just be that succinct, because yes, there's external things that I want women to achieve, but what I want women to know is who they always have been. And step 2 eliminates the things that have been blocking that, right? Step 4 is the evidence and like, no, I am it. No, I am it. No, I am it. And gets rid of that chaos and gets rid of doubt and just like allows you to go, okay, so you've been going and you've been going and you've been going. And I really want to like loop back to where we are now, which is where you were a year plus ago, which is the thing that you have been wanting to birth, sell, create for so long. It's here. I know you touched on a little bit. I would like for you to actually share about this beautiful community that you have just launched, that you've built, the infrastructure. I want to say like the bones of it, the infrastructure, the heart, the soul of it. Like the home is there. You've opened the door. Now you have people entering, all of that. What is this beautiful community that you've created?
Yeah. I have been a writer and an intuitive since college, 25 years. I've been a daily writer for all of my adult life. I have bookcases full of journals. And when I think back about my journey and how I came to where I am, I honestly don't think I would have landed here if it wasn't for writing. As a kid, I had this story that I was meant to be seen and not heard. So I was a good little girl, presented perfectly, didn't make a peep. And I have spent my entire adult life learning how to hear myself. And writing has been the tool that has set me free. Like, gonna make me cry. I think of so many women, high achieving women, and especially who are doing everything that they're supposed to do. And they're just shriveling up inside because they know that they're meant for more, but they're not give themselves permission. They haven't heard themselves. They haven't heard their hearts in years. And to me, writing is that place. Writing is that safe space where you can write whatever you need to write. You're going to have to get out anger. It's going to come because you've suppressed who you are for so long. You're going to be pissed before anything else happens. But behind that is joy. It is.
Yeah.
And so I want to create a place where people get to express themselves and they get to learn who they are and they get the practices that not only set themselves free, but help give them the tools to create what they truly want in this life. Like, I use writing to manifest. I use writing to create. I use writing to process. I use writing to learn who I am and how I express myself in the world. It's how I speak to my guides. It's how I speak to my higher self. It's how I speak to my heart. And so I truly believe that this is the gift for the people who know that it's true for them. They've been writers as well. They know that this is a practice that changes their state, their being, who they are, but they just haven't given themselves permission to do it on a regular basis. It gets shoved underneath the rug, underneath the job, underneath everyone else's to-dos and responsibilities and asks, and they think, I'll take care of myself later. I want this to be the space where they get to come take care of themselves now. And I believe that in a community like this, your whole life can change for the better because you finally get to express yourself and start moving through some of those things that you haven't let yourself face before.
It's so wild how medicinal saying what's true is. It's so simple. It's so easy it sounds. If we didn't grow up in a world where we had so many imprints as little girls, as you mentioned, like here to be seen, not heard, and that is really deep in a lot of children, I think, and then we take that with us into a world. And like the majority of the women that I would say listening to this podcast are they know they are meant to have a voice that is heard. But how can that be true if we can't hear it ourselves in the quiet moments? I was just listening to this this reel that was so beautiful. I can't believe I happened to click on it like right before a call, and it feels like so poetically perfect to like tie what you were saying with a bow. But it was a story of this father and daughter who did like a camp challenge together. And so I think you mentioned his daughter is maybe like 12 years old or something like that. And so the camp challenge is that the daughter has to be blindfolded and the father will guide her. And the daughter has three things to remember. I'll see if I can remember all of them. One of them is remember that I will not leave you. That, okay, I can only remember two, but these are the two that feel relevant. The second one is whenever you need me, just ask for help. And the third one is to be told later. But so they start going through the woods and the daughter's blindfolded. And at first, the dad is allowed to keep his hand on her shoulder so she can feel dad. And as they're walking, the fathers are silently signaled to and said, okay, you have to take your hand off of her. And now you have to guide her using your voice. And so in the beginning, they give them the rules and then they repeat them. And then they say, do you understand? And can you repeat them? So they go through this process of like, the rules are, I will not leave you. And you can always ask me for help. And then the third one that we've left. And so as they go, now he's taken his hand off and then they're signaled, now you have to stop using your voice. And so now the daughter is standing there still and the dad is just like, I can't say anything. I can't guide her until she asks. And so they sit there and they sit there and they sit there. And then what happens is kind of like the world. It's like, so the camp counselor. Oh, the third one is don't listen to any other voices. That's what it was.
So good.
So just like the rest of the world, like these external voices come along. And so the camp counselor comes over and they say to the daughter and they say, hey, it seems like you're lost. And she's like, yeah, I am. And they say, follow the sound of my voice. I'll guide you. And the dad is sitting there like, say no. Say no. And he's like, oh my God. Oh my God. And she goes, okay. Oh, she follows the sound of the camp counselor. Having forgot one of the three, I get it. I forgot it quick too. Like, don't follow any other voices other than your father's. And so she starts following the distraction, we'll call it, and she's guided into a ditch, and then she's standing there blindfolded in a ditch in front of a tree. And now all of a sudden, the whole like forest gets quiet. And another counselor comes by and the counselor goes, hey, it seems like you're in trouble. Would you like some help? And she goes, I am in trouble. I would like some help. And the counselor is like, gives her a nudge and he goes, do you remember the 3 rules? And she sat there and she goes, oh, Dad, are you there? And the dad just starts crying and he's like, oh my God, I've been waiting for you to ask. I've been waiting for you to lean on me. I've been waiting for you to need me. I've been waiting for you to like be willing to hear my voice. And like, that is what I think of when I hear your story is like, it's always there. It's waiting for us to ask. Every other voice is a distraction. And when you come home to it, it's like hearing the sound of dad's voice. It's like that ultimate comfort, the ultimate truth, the ultimate trust, the ultimate, like, I cannot be led wrong. Even if I trip and fall, I know dad's still here. I cannot be led wrong. I'll always be okay. And I think of how many times as adults, we need to hear stories like yours, Tiffany, and like the story of this dad and his daughter, forgetting like the only voice that matters. I think that there's value in listening to each other's voices as a reminder to come home to ours, not in replacement. And that's what I love about this beautiful community that you've created. You haven't created a community for people to come in and to create trust in your voice. You've brought them home to theirs. So snap, snap, applause, applause. I see, thank God.
It's funny. So I call it intuitive writing for that reason.
Mm.
I apprenticed with a shaman for about 8 years. And there
I
was
love
one
this
day,
part of your story. Thank you for bringing it. I would have forgotten. I'm sorry. Keep going.
yeah. And there was one point we were sitting there and she was speaking with my spirit guides and she's like, "Oh, well, you've been channeling." And I was like, "Is that what?" And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "When you write, you channel." And I was like, "Oh, because I can feel the difference in my writing when it's my head or my heart writing versus something outside of me." And I've taught intuitive writing classes before, helping people to channel. But it's exactly that. Asking
Yeah.
dad, asking universe, asking source.
Yeah.
World is easier when you say, just guide me. This is where I want to go. Just tell me how to get there. And that's how this community came to be. It's my guidance system and also the guidance system for many people to come.
I think what I like about all of this too is like, especially wrapping Stacking Club back into it, is there's this element in the spiritual world is like, just have faith, just have faith. And like, I like that. And I think we need both. I think we need tangibility. I think our nervous system needs to go like, okay, I can believe in that out there, but what's real here? And you're like, there is something real here. Come home to your heart. Your heart has the real thing, has the thing that's now. You're guiding people back into it. You're getting people comfortable with that voice. I like that you offered like different words for that voice, because I know not everybody has a great like father-daughter relationship. So that part doesn't matter. I think it can be God source, Sky Daddy, Elvis. Like there's just the field, the universe, nature, Mama Gaia, hearts. Like oftentimes I'm just like, what does my soul have for me? If you've developed self-trust in yourself and you're just like, I know that there's a part of me that knows my heart. I use all the words, like they're all interchangeable, but I'm so beyond, like Tiffany's already grabbed my daughter. She's like, my daughter's like, I want to be a part of it. She already attended one of Tiffany's writing circles. She actually helped Tiffany do her research, because she's like, I'm your ideal customer. Would it be okay if you interviewed me? I have so much to say. Like I think even for people who have, grown children, or I don't know what the age point is on an offer like this. I honestly don't think you can go too young, but I'm sure you have a certain age point of who you would want to serve. Maybe the moms, and then they can support the children, unless you have older children.
Yeah,
but
it's been interesting. I have a community of writers. Not everyone's in the community yet, but many are on their way. And I would say ages range anywhere from 20s to almost 80. And
wow.
I think it's actually the variety that makes this group so special. We're
Yeah.
not all the same. Like we have people who are writing horror, we have people who are writing romance, we have people who are writing meditations, we have people who are writing stand-up comic jokes. I mean, all across the board, because your expression is you. And I don't plan to make you write in a certain way. That's not the goal. My goal is to create space so you can write what wants to be written through you.
And just to like use your voice, which is where all this shit started in the first place. It's so cool to me to see somebody like really truly use the system, and to let all of it be created in the timing that it was meant to create, so that it can feel the way that it gets to feel now. How many women burn down their creations because they're like, this shit is for the birds. I am suffering. I can't breathe. Like, I don't remember who I am. I can't remember the last time I fed myself. And you're just like, no, that's not how we do it here. Like, it's so cool, Tiffany. Okay, so where do people find you? Where do people come if they want to be a part of this amazing community?
Yeah. So on Instagram and LinkedIn, Tiffany Marlink is my name. You can find me there. The Intuitive Writers Guild is on School. So it's Alex Hermosi's platform, SKOOL. On Threads, I'm the Lightworker Diaries. On Substack, I'm also the Lightworker Diaries. You can find the Lightworker Diaries podcast on all major platforms. As I mentioned before, I'm loving that. So
Oh my
if you're a
God, yeah.
listener, feel free to join.
Oh my God. Go listen to her first, like several podcasts on there. I mean, I'm sure you'll be addicted after that, but like just the aliveness in which you created that in the first place. But we'll link everything in the show notes. So if you guys are like a Substack girly, go follow her on Substack. Like you're kind of in all the places and loving it. And you've just been able to do it actually. I love that so much. Tiffany, this was such a pleasure. If there's somebody right now who's thinking like, I'm kind of curious about this feminine velocity system and your experience with it, like what would you say to her?
I would say that this is an opportunity to explore a side of you that maybe goes against the rules of what you've been living. And that is meant to be in the most beautiful way. Because being in this container and seeing not only what's possible for you, but what's possible for the other women, the sharing in the community has been so eye-opening for me. I think a lot of high achievers don't dream as big as they possibly could. And when you put a bunch of us in the same room together and you're seeing stacks and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, that was a stack for me too. I didn't even think about that. It just compounds. And feminine velocity was my gateway into Andrea's world. And it is the thing that I do over and over again. And I have loved every single minute of it. And I think a lot of how I got to where I am today and the fact that I didn't get completely derailed standing in the ditch in front of a tree has been because Andrea brought me the time again. So I can't recommend it enough. It's one of the things I'm looking forward to most.
There are there's a couple of consistent emails that we get, which is like, what if I can't do all of the 30 days? Or like, what if this is another thing that I can't keep up? What would you say to either of those?
Yeah, to be honest, I think it's a little bit of fear. To be completely, maybe a little bit brutally honest, it's easy to say that you're busy. It's an excuse that is well accepted. And I think you're a more powerful creator than that. And I think if this is drawing you into its world, make it a priority, give it the opportunity, because there is so much more waiting for you. And giving a little bit of time to this each day is giving time to yourself and to the dream that sent you birthed through you. Like, this is the time. 30 days is a blink of an eye in regards to your lifetime. Like,
it's May. Holy shit.
Yeah, just give it the 30 days and see what's cool. Because you, like me, might be wildly surprised if you just commit.
Yeah. I mean, I think of so many women that did not do every single day in the 30 days and they were just like mind blown. So you don't even have to, I'm one of those people where I'm like, I'll do a 30-day thing, but I'm not going to show up for 30 days, but I'll probably give you like 25 out of the 30 and like you're a motherfucking champion if you do either in this world. You can't, the other thing that I like about the system is there's no sense of behindness because there's no chronological order other than the 4 steps. But would you say that the steps are something that you've really easily integrated into your daily life? Do they feel challenging for you to keep up with?
I think the only one that I tripped over a couple of times was what action to take. I think that's the only one, but I still do it. It's just the one that gives me the most challenge. But all the rest, I mean, it is very much a framework, if you want to call it that, but it's a 4-step process that I'm still doing every day. And I've been like holding myself back from setting my intention till we start tomorrow. Cause I just want to do it in the energy of the container because I think it's so much fun.
Oh my gosh, it is so much fun. And you're not wrong. Like when you do it with other ambitious women, you're just like, you dream a little bit bigger, you get more excited, you find more evidence in which you're winning too, because there is stuff that you forget to celebrate yourself where when you see another woman do it, you're like, oh, wait, we can celebrate that? Like, wait, that's evidence? Wait, I do that every day. I just don't think about it because I'm so good at it. Like, it's just so revealing of where you're already such a champion. And just like nobody trained to get, like, you probably are the woman in your life and in other people's life that remind them who they are. And this is the place where you get that for yourself as well. Tiffany, you're such a star. You're so like the way that you've just adopted the way that you live it, and then the way that I've seen it translate into a space for women to feel held, for their voices to open, for their trust to be restored, for their truth to feel home and alive and real and important and meaningful and artistic and joyful. And I love how you're just like, you're probably going to be a little pissed for a second, but behind that is joy. And I've just like, I watched that in your eyes since the beginning of the year where you're just like, fuck, damn it. Those are my words, not hers. But, and then behind it, she's like, oh, I'm here. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. This is it. This is it. This is it. So thank you for being in this crazy portal with me, because we are kind of the weirdos of life, but I hope that I'm alive when I see that tipping point change. And I do appreciate that you are a part of the women who are making that happen. You are part of like a movement of women coming home to themselves, and you're extending it in your own way, using your own voice, using your own gifts and your own magic. And anybody who is in your world is just fucking lucky. By the way, did we mention your community right now? Just right now, because like this just opened, guys. It's $49 a month, right? Am I right?
Did I remember? $47 a month right now for founders coming in.
I'll say less. We'll just right now. This is like entry level thought. So if you guys are like, no, actually, I've been wanting to like come back to my writing, or maybe you've kind of known that that is something that would be of like value and nourishing and wonderful and creative and help you pull out of the overstimulation of the world. Yeah, $47 a month right now. So grab that link in description area. Tiffany, I love you so much. You guys, please send Tiffany a DM on Instagram or leave her a message on Substack, just giving her a little bit of appreciation for anything that she said. You guys know I love to ask you, send a specific thank you to her. Like when you said this, that really landed with me. I felt that. I felt your truth. I felt your vulnerability. Like Tiffany shared some real stuff today. So please send her a specific thank you and just like rally for the More Alive community, for the women who are just standing for it right now. And for all of you guys, thank you for standing for this movement, for being with me, for making choices that are so against the grain in the majority of the world, and knowing that it is the best thing for ourselves and for the rest of the world. We love you guys, and we'll see you on the next episode.